Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Raising Vibrations Radio. I'm your host, Reverend Raven, and tonight we have I call him the Brad Pitt of the spiritual world. Such a cutie, and he has amazing energy, Alfred Ricci. Hello, Alfred.
Well, hello, everyone. Brad Pitt of the spiritual world. You might have started something there.
I love it. You remind me of, do you remember the movie Meet Joe Black?
It's been a while. I know he was in that.
Yeah, it was a remake of Death Takes a Holiday.
Okay.
And he plays Death in there, you know, the one that comes and gets you to take you to the other side.
Death takes the form of a young man.
Yes.
Not that you're guy to teach him about life on Earth. I always tell the other side, I think you need to come down here to really try to understand the way things work, because sometimes even though I understand there's all these miracles going on, but maybe you just need a slight better clue of what it's like in the physical life down here, and they laugh.
I love it. So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'll give you my life in about probably less than a minute. We'll try that. I very similar to a lot of old souls, and old souls are presented with a lot of lessons earlier in life. I had so many lessons, I decided to walk out the door at 14 years old with a suitcase in my hand and say, all right, I've had about enough. I have things to do now. And literally walked out of my parents' house at that age and placed myself in the system, which is group homes, foster homes, and shelters, because I thought that would be better. That's how many lessons I had requested early on in life. Anyways, fast forward about 8 years, maybe about 10 years, I'm in graduate school, got accepted to be an international banker based over in Europe, traveling around the world, and they're paying for it. I learned very quickly that if you sense what you're supposed to do, the other side can coordinate miracles so far beyond anybody's comprehension of where your life can go and the things you can do if you allow them to coordinate on your behalf. I take maybe a half of 1% responsibility for the miracles that have happened that have allowed me to go from living in the absolute worst conditions to flying around the world, traveling first class and having the most unbelievable dream life that no one ever thought I didn't even know existed. And that was because I know now that I tapped into being able to hear the other side saying, turn left, stop, don't do that. We suggest you go over here and talk to this person. That's not what I teach. I'm passing that along.
That is amazing. It truly is. I mean, first of all, your childhood, going back to that, because I always find that the most interesting part of all of this stuff. Were you did you hear from Spirit when you were a child too as well?
No, I'm not as, shall we say, blessed as somebody like Hans Christian King, who has conversations with the other side like you and I, and, your audience is listening. No, it was only at certain very key points that the other side come in. Oh, well, this is a good story. I love this one. I'm like 15 years old living in a group home, and there's me, Mike, and Stan. There's the 3 juvenile delinquents, and I'm being gentle here. And we're out late, of course, getting wrecked, and Mike and Stan say, there's the party. They run inside, and I'm standing in the middle of the street, and all of a sudden I hear, go home. And I'm like, no, Mike and Stan are in there, and that's where the party is. And I just hear, go home. And I am so obliterated, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And I, 15 years old, walked to the group home. Of course I didn't. There was nobody around me. That didn't matter. I don't know what I happened to be on that night. Woke up the next morning. There's Mike and Stan in handcuffs. The police are taking them away. I could barely open my eyes, and one of the counselors in the group home puts his arm around me and says, "You came home before curfew last night. We took a vote and decided to give you a second chance. Thus, you were supposed to be with them, but because you came home by curfew, we're going to give you a second chance and let you stay."
Wow.
And I didn't know that at the time. I just paid attention. Maybe hearing voices, whatever I happened to be taking at the time was normal. But they interceded at my life at certain times. And what I realized is during those certain times, there's a way to pay attention. There's a way to discover that, yes, you really need to trust what this is saying to you, regardless if you can't tell where it's coming from. There's nobody around you. You have no idea where it came from. And they're not really discussing the details why. They're telling you, turn right, stop, go home. They're just telling you, go home.
I'm amazed, though, that you listened.
I am, too. I didn't really. I think about how obliterated I was that night, and I don't know if I really stumbled home. My capability of listening. And that's the whole point. It's not your physical body that's listening. It is your extraordinary senses that are listening. In the book that I'm writing right now, it talks about those who are, shall we say, unconscious. That the way to get through life is by what you see, what you know, what you touch. And then there's those of us who are conscious, to realize there is so much more than what the physical senses, humanness I like to call it, can sense. You can hear the other side even though there's no sound. You can feel if something is for you even though there's nothing to touch. Those senses I was blessed enough to recognize throughout my life when they came in and say, we suggest you go do this. Didn't doubt it. I just did whatever it was. Poof. All of a sudden, I'm on the other side of the world living in downtown Vienna. I'm like, Vienna? Wow, this is cool.
What's amazing, though, is you were in a group home setting, not Vienna. I mean, anybody can get on a plane and go to Vienna, right? But I'm just saying you were in a group home and you go to college, and then on top of that, you continue on with your education even further than just a BS?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I missed the partying, actually. I had to be completely truthful, honest, that I was working, climbing up the corporate ladder, already had my first international banking job just fresh out of college. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't have enough of that college fun. I'm going to go to grad school. It didn't even faze me. It was like, yeah, let's go have fun. Insanity when I got there, though. But I'm like, okay, student loans are going to pay for my motorcycle, my car. I have a place on the beach. This is a great story. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd get the broom and I'd start sweeping because the beach sand would come underneath the sliding glass door. And I caught myself one day saying, "God damn beach sand." And I was like, wait, hold on just a second here. You're going to school full time. You're not working. You have to choose between the car and the motorcycle. Which one you drive up and down Pacific Coast Highway, okay, on a California beach, and you're complaining you're so close to the beach that the sand blows in under the kitchen door. I learned gratefulness really quick.
Wow. What a life.
Yeah, insanity. And somewhere in there I bumped into Hans Christian King. That was a good story. Here's a good one. For those of you who are wondering when the other side intercedes and coordinates on your behalf, I am living proof of that. I'm traveling around the world making six figures, flying first class, 4- and 5-star hotels. I'm doing 2 to 3 countries a week on behalf of one of the biggest banks in the world. And all of a sudden, something from inside my chest, that same voice, says to me, "It's time to quit. please resign, and you need to go do something meaningful with your life.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I seem to remember this voice. I still don't know who you are. And are you on drugs? And for a year, that voice got louder and louder and louder and louder until I finally said, look, okay, this is a life beyond a dream life. I mean, I used to fly home to do laundry. It was like,
Wow.
okay, Banks, you want to hear about stupidity. Doing laundry at the hotel was not in budget. So if I had to do laundry at the hotel, which would have been like $100, $150, I had to pay for it out of pocket. But it was okay to take a first-class round-trip international flight to go home every weekend, which I would do laundry.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious. Banks are really... Bank budgeting? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, that's horrible.
Well, it was kind of fun. I got to go restock. And the miles were great. The frequent flyer miles were incredible. Anyway, so this voice is telling me, like, yeah, time to go find meaning. And I'm like, who are you and what is meaning? I used to be a Roman Catholic altar boy when I was living with my mother. And I was like, this just doesn't feel right, and the priest he embezzled $1 million and they found out that he was giving his favorite altar boys gifts on the side. I'm like, okay, of course that didn't feel right. Quit being an altar boy. That was like, I don't know, I'm like 12, 13 years old. Last time I ever went to church, never prayed. And I've got this voice inside my chest when I'm flying around the world telling me to quit. I'm
Wow.
like, You are kidding me, right? And they're like, no, please quit, resign. You need to go back to California. Fine. A year later, I listened. I'm sleeping on a friend's couch.
Wow.
Waiting. And anyways,
How did your ego take that? You quit a job that afforded you to go all over the world and fly back home to do your laundry and all that, and then now you're on somebody's couch.
Yeah, I gave everything away. This couple was like, it was their first time they got an apartment. I gave them everything. I was like, here, you two have fun. Good people. That's the point, is hearing. It doesn't stop at hearing. Is how many different ways can you confirm that this is truly coming from your guidance, that you asked to guide you, that know your Dharma, know completely what you wanted to experience because you told them so before you got here. Do you trust what you hear? Can you confirm what you hear? Is it clear enough? Did you ask 6 times? They don't mind repeating. They do it all day long. The question is, are we ever listening while they're repeating themselves? So I learned all these little things that I pass on to people to say, okay, here's 4 different ways that you can confirm it is the other side that's telling you something. And you can say, did you guys really just tell me this? Are you sure about that? And they will repeat themselves how many times are necessary. Because you never know. It was time to take what I learned from that aspect of my life and move on to the next thing. You don't necessarily know that. No one does, because we're in human form. That's the other side's job, to say, okay, you did that now. You wanted to do that. You did that. Now you want to go do these other things. And when Hans told me, yeah, you're going to be a spiritual teacher like me, I asked him if he was on drugs. I'm like, no, I'm a banker. And this voice inside my chest says, no, you're going to go with Hans. And I'm like, you people are crazy. Anyways, 10 years later, here we are.
Wait, did you just happen to walk up on him in the street or something like that?
No. The other side was playing jokes on me. Here's a good one. The ways that they can communicate with you. They used to take me into bookstores. Mm-hmm. You know how many books there are in a bookstore. Every single book would be fuzzy except one.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to go over to that particular book, right? Yes. Don't pick it. Just pick it up. Go to the counter. Okay. I pick up the book, and they're like, no, you're not done yet. I'm like, I'm sorry. Turn around. There'll be another book, a book that was in focus. Everything else was blurry. I'm like, oh, fine. Hinduism, Buddhism, many lives, many masters. The other side guiding me to say, This is for you. The question is, do you pay attention? How do you pay attention? All those little things. And that's the thing that I found out is every single person on earth has angels. Now, anybody who's listening, okay, quickly write down, look up the word angel in a dictionary, okay? And somewhere in any dictionary, I looked up in like 6 different dictionaries, every single dictionary will say, messenger of God. Okay? If everybody's got angels, and these angels, one of their jobs is to give you messages, everyone should learn to listen. Because it's really cool what they can do if you listen and trust. So that's what I do now. I pass all this on to as many people as I possibly can.
Right.
I've had enough fun for about like 6 lifetimes. So I figure it's time for some other people to have some crazy lives.
It's kind of so you were in the bookstores though, and you were being led by each book and stuff like that. So did you happen to pick up his book and reach out to see him, or was he in the bookstore?
No. Oh, Hans. Yeah, him. I bumped into somebody, a friend of a friend. I volunteered to help a really good friend from grad school move, and his realtor's there. I was like, "You're his realtor. What the heck are you helping him move for?" And she's like, "Oh, I help people." And I was like, "You do?" Come to find out, she's spiritual.
Uh-huh.
And so I started talking to her about all these crazy things the other side's telling me to do, and all these books, and quit work and wind up on somebody's couch and read these crazy books I don't know what they're talking about, and taking Reiki. And she's like, "You got to go talk to Hans." I said, "Hans?" She says, "Yes. Ignore what it costs. Just pay it. Go ask Hans. Trust me."
Wow.
I said, "Okay." So, fine. I booked my appointment with Hans. 10 minutes later, he's telling me, "Oh, yeah, they were telling me that you're going to show up eventually. Here you are. Nice to meet you. Okay, here's your message. This is what you're going to be doing." And by the end of the time, I was like, okay, then my ego was kicking in by saying, okay, this guy is fruity. Yes, he is fruity. Yes, that one I did not argue with, but believing him was another topic. And the other side's like, yes, please listen to him. Whether you like the way he delivers the message or not, you're supposed to listen to him. Anyways, so we struck a deal to say, okay, fine, you teach me this spiritual woo-woo, and I'll run your business. Well, 10 years later, he's still beating on me every single day, whacking me over the head with a 2x4. Very loving spiritual 2x4. I don't know how my head is still round. Anyways, and I still run his business.
Aw.
Yes. So and of course, it's been the past couple of years that I have been having my own products, my own clients, and stuff like that. I've been teaching people automatic writing and channeling for about 5 years now.
Right.
Very cool stuff.
In fact, you in the center here is your picture with the link to your website, so they can get in touch with you if they're interested in learning from you. Yeah. Which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, apparently I'm pretty cheap in terms of teaching people automatic writing, but my job is not to make money. I have learned from Hans, being of service is not about making money, at least in this part of my life. It's about being of service and helping people. So I try to keep the rates down to something reasonable. I've said just, go out and do research, see how much other people charge for automatic writing. Apparently I charge about half. It has nothing to do with the quality of it. I've lived through it, walked through it. What was it, Michael Jackson said, go walk in somebody's shoes and then you'll understand. Mm-hmm. I try to pass that stuff along as much as I can.
Okay, so tell our listeners what automatic writing is.
Cool. Okay. The beginning aspect of receiving information, I got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. The beginning part of receiving information is understanding yes and no. Okay? Mm-hmm. For example, you walk into a room. You don't know anybody. Everybody here can probably say, yes, I walked into a room, and all of a sudden I felt, ew, I need to stay away from that person. Oh, I need to go talk to that person. I don't know who any of these people are, but I don't like that person's vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I do like this person's vibe. Okay? So the beginning of communication with the universe and being guided is understanding yes and no. Well, it's the same thing as learning a language. Yes, no. Sí, no, ya. Then you learn my name is. Very simple words. Well, it can turn into sentences, which can turn into paragraphs, which can turn into pages, which can turn into books, lectures, classes, anything.
Right.
If you learn how to learn the language, basically. So that's
Right.
what automatic writing is it takes that gut instinct, the mother's instinct, gut feeling, and turning very simple, no, please don't jump off that bridge, to yes, go help that person. Okay?
Jump off the bridge.
Yeah, no, don't jump off the bridge, please. Okay, if you think about the feeling you get if you think of like, okay, I'm 5 stories up and you get this really sick feeling that they know. Okay, well, you turn a vibration and energy into a word. The more you practice it, okay, there are various levels of practicing, then you're able to receive the message. And the messages come beginning in words, then they become in sentences, then they get to be paragraphs, and then you get to literally sit down and have the other side lecture you on your life, on whatever it is that's most important to you. So, like, for example, when I was lucky to hear go home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you could say, okay, great. Why don't you expand upon that? Why don't you tell me a little bit more about going home? Obviously, I wasn't in the condition at that time. But if there's something important in your life, and they say, we think you should know about this, there is a practice where you can sit down with a pad or a computer and literally write down what the other side is telling you about your life, where you are, where you should go, why you should do it, what you should work on. And it's like having a little Hans Christian King in your back pocket. And everyone has the ability to receive the messages. Stuff like that, anything. You're off your life path. Please stop doing that. Okay, this is for you because you asked to experience this. And here's 2 pages. Why? What you told us, what you figured out on the other side that we're just reminding you of. That's what automatic writing is.
So anybody can do automatic writing once they learn the language of it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, anyone. Everyone, every person has the ability to be clairsentient, which is to translate energy and vibration into words. Every single person in the world. Every single person in the world has the ability to receive information in this way. Okay, my new favorite quote by one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Einstein, says, Intuition is everything. Einstein said that. Intuition. Not knowledge, not what you learned. Intuition. My second favorite quote by Einstein, I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details. Every single person in the world has the ability to tap into, maybe not, was it Archangel Michael or the Akashic Records? Everybody at least has the ability to receive messages from their guidance, from their angels, from the spirits that watch over them. Everyone.
So one of our listeners has gone to your website and they have a question already for you. So are you, according to your site that we have the link here to, are you more of a motivational speaker? Is that what your site's about there?
No, I'm in the process of transitioning. I was going back and forth for a while whether or not to say God and Spirit on my website and stuff like that. And there's a couple of places I've missed. If you go to alfredricci.com, I just finished that like about a month or two ago. There's a couple of little things that I'm working on, but it says spirituality in business, spirituality in your career, automatic writing, where I do come out and say, okay, you know what? I'm going over that line. I'm going over that border. No more of this. Yes, the website says conscious business. Well, that's the nice way of saying, let's bring spiritual principles into the workplace. Okay, there's very few people who have gone over that border, where they say, I'm a motivational speaker. Oh, let's do some conscious business. And I finally, make a long story short, have transitioned into, no, I'm flat out telling you that this class is going to be about bringing spiritual principles into the workplace. And if you're uncomfortable with that, not my problem. Okay, if you are comfortable with that, come on, buy a seat. So anyways, I missed some spots that still say motivational speaker instead of spiritual teacher, or what's the one that I came up with recently? Innovation sage.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Groovy.
because innovation. How much time do we have, by the way?
We're going to be on here till 10 o'clock. So.
Okay, cool. Innovation, the business side of things. If you give people purpose, if they find inner meaning, what's going to happen to somebody? Just give me one or two sentences. Somebody finds meaning. Somebody finds purpose in their life. What transformation happens to a person?
Well, they do their laundry. They go out and help other people. They get involved.
Okay. Get involved. Okay, continue on that. How do they get involved? What happens to a person when they want to support a purpose, they find meaning?
Let's see. Well, when they find meaning, they want to share. They get involved to share with other human beings.
Okay, cool. They want to help. They want to give. Okay. Traditionally, this is done in a nonprofit arena. But imagine if you have to have a normal company, a for-profit company, and all of a sudden you help your employees awaken, become conscious. You help them find purpose and meaning. Imagine what those employees would give back to you. And what I do on my business consulting side is actually do seminars inside businesses, government agencies, nonprofits, and help teach employees, managers, spiritual principles to help them awaken to say, look, it's not about the individual ego, it's about community. It's not about what you can do or what you as an individual do, but did you share? Did you mentor? Did you inspire? Those aren't words that are traditionally used in a workplace. So you can see the way you describe the benefits of it. And it's been an interesting journey the last couple of years to actually get the level of trust needed with the other side to say, you know what? Yeah, my business consulting is based on spiritual principles. I am going to bring up the words God and Spirit every now and then. And that's unnerving. That's really scary. So it's been an interesting transition to come full circle, stuff like motivational speaker into innovation sage. That's a really long answer to that question. Sorry. Well,
she was also interested, like, what are your prices on the automatic writing to teach those classes and stuff like that? Are they individually taught, or do you do groups, or how does that work?
Okay, as of now, I have not figured out, the other side has not blessed me with the knowledge of how to do automatic writing in a group setting. Reason being is because of the individual attention that each person needs to find how to plug into the other side. Because everybody vibrates differently. Everybody has a different energy. Thus, everybody's frequency and how they connect and what helps them connect and how do they hold that connection and the messages that come through and how do they handle those messages is unique to each individual. trust me, I'd love to hold classes on automatic writing. But after 5 years, I've not had two students the same in terms of the path that they took to plug into the other side. Because basically it's taking messages that are random, like you're not expecting them, to say, okay, let me plug in and have a conversation with the other side on demand, when I want, on schedule. Completely different way of going about it, and how each individual plugs in and what trips them and what comes through is so unique. Anyways, that's just a long explanation of, I've had to do a one-on-one so far. It's, I think, $745, just under $750 to take somebody who hopefully has done some inner work already, which I assume if they're listening to your show that they've already done some inner work. The more inner work you've done, of course, the easier it is, because I don't need to take you, whoever it is, through the basics. If you already have a little bit of a spiritual foundation, and you're doing the inner work, then you're able to leap higher faster. That's about it. And usually it's taking about 6 half-hour sessions. It's every half-hour session. I'm like, okay, here's your homework. Practice this homework. Okay, let's take yes, no, connecting on demand, being able to hold that connection open for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, great. Beating down the ego, keeping the ego out of the meditative state so that you're clear. Things like that. Those are the beginning practices that I give and say, okay, once you're comfortable with those, fine. We'll come back. We'll check you, how you're doing, deal with any personal stuff, and work on some new exercises. Okay, great. Take those exercises, go for a little bit, couple of weeks, and come back. And it's anywhere from 3-4 months that somebody can go from, yes, I know I'm getting something randomly, to being able to get sentences and paragraphs. I've had, actually, people have done it much, much faster. I've had practicing psychics who, have been practicing for 5 or 10 years. Right. And they say, okay, I want to be able to connect faster. One of the comments from a client was, I know I can get stuff, but it's kind of embarrassing when I'm sitting there for 5 to 8 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, waiting for a connection. Yes, eventually the connection comes in. Okay, great. Within 3 sessions, she was connecting within 10 seconds every time.
Wow. That's great. How open they were.
Yeah, because she was getting bits and pieces. I was like, okay, fill in the blank here, here, and here, and all of a sudden all the dots connected. And that's why everybody's so unique. But it really does help, again, if you've done a lot of spiritual work, if you've haphazardly been getting messages, boom, okay, fine. Let's just turn the knob a hair to the left. Let's turn this knob a hair to the right. Boom, you're connected. That's what's really cool when you see people pop like that. So I've had clients, like I said, it was like 2 weeks that it completely changed her channeling. One of my first students a few years ago, she wrote a wonderful testimonial. She was voted Psychic of the Year for, I can't remember which organization, and she uses it now to help people. She uses it to do psychic investigations where, the police need some help, and she'll come in and give them information about how to solve a crime. The things that you can do when you tap into the other side are so monumental. But what's really cool is you just want to help people. You just want to give it away. You just want to make everyone's life better because you're so happy all the time anyway.
Right. Speaking of that, do you mind if one of our listeners comes in on with us and you share your gift with them to show us what Spirit says to you? Do you mind doing that?
I'm not a good psychic. It's really
Oh no,
weird.
just like like what the angel might be saying to you, or something. Your talent with your writing.
Um, it's really crazy. I can help her with her connection. I can get very, very clear information about me. I
Mhm.
can help someone expand their awareness. I can teach someone where to go, to get over the next bump, to get to the next level in their spirituality. I'm not a really good psychic. So if the questions are about, okay, this is the spiritual practice I'm working on right now, where should I go next? Something like that, fine. I'm cool with it.
Okay. All right. Well, Corrine, if you'd like to ask him a question, you're more than welcome to throw your microphone on if you want to and come on here and I'll bring you on so that you can ask your question. Tell us more about, while she's deciding to do that, about advanced channeling.
Sure. Okay. Well, I want to answer Jenny's thing is that most people who hear about people like me think of a psychic or a medium. Those aren't my gifts. My gifts are not directly being like helping people with things they don't know. My gifts happen to be with helping people with their spiritual growth so they can get their own answers. It's a completely different ability. I'm not going to give you your answers. My job is to help give you a compass. My job is to help give you a fishing hook. My job is to teach you how to fish. That's where my gift comes in, is I'm not like Hans King. I'm not a medium or a psychic that says 3 months from now this is going to happen to you. No. My gift that I decided to have for my purpose in life is to help you connect so you can get those messages directly from your guidance. See, when you're talking to a normal psychic or you're talking to a medium, they're actually communicating with your guidance. They're called a medium for a reason. They're
Right.
a go-between. My job that I've decided to do, apparently, for this part of my life is to allow people to get information and get guidance without a medium. To go directly to your guidance, to go directly to your friends and family in spirit and speak directly with them. I hope that helps everybody. I was reading the chat.
Yes, and I encourage everybody that comes in here during the live show to pop those questions in if they don't join in with microphones, to ask those questions, to help them on their, their path of raising their own vibrations and things like that. So I totally get what you're saying. It's kind of like what I do. For myself is, I'm a great listener. I let people share whatever they need to share, and that's the end of it. And if they ask for something for my help, then I let spirit come in and guide them in that direction. Like, I call myself a muse in that. And that's basically what you're kind of doing. That's more like a muse is somebody that goes and inspires that person to go forth and have that connection with spirit for themselves. Which is great.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, since I've watched Hans, he's been about, I would say, 70 to 80% of what he does is just give people their life story. And I've helped him develop classes so we can pass that skill on to others. How can you, not every single time you have a question, have to call a medium or a psychic? How can you just decide to get up 15 minutes early in front of your computer and get the messages you need?
Oh, exactly. I mean, like, let's take my day, for instance, today. I know you guys are getting tired of hearing this, but today, everybody that I connected with asked me the same question all day long.
Oh, that's a riot.
Everybody that I came into contact asked me the same question. Do you want to know what that question was?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay. They asked me, do I smoke weed?
Okay.
Right? What a wild question to ask somebody.
Yeah.
What do you think does it mean? Do you think I need to start smoking weed or something?
That's a good question. Oh, I know what it was. It reminds me of my old days when I did partake much more in substances. I think they call it self-medication now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the high you get when you're smoking pot is very similar to a spiritual high. Everything's wonderful. Everybody's great. Life is so wonderful. You're just smiling down the road all the time for no reason. The vibrations it's a very natural high. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that you may just be happy. People may mistake it for, wait, you can't just be naturally high. You have to be smoking something.
Right?
So probably most of the day you were just smiling a lot.
I was. I am ecstatic right now, and I feel very blessed for everybody that's, in my energy field right now in this very moment. And I beautiful friends, beautiful energy, beautiful people I'm meeting all the time, and I can't help but smile all the time.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's my yes, I did inhale experience of why people are probably asking you that. Because most people don't know that if you connect to this higher vibration, this higher energy, unconscious people, shall we say, that you can literally get higher than the best drugs.
Right?
Yeah, there used to be yogi jokes. Like there's some guy hanging out in a mountain meditating, and all you see above his heads are all these short circuits, and he's just flying around.
Well, I definitely have been on this wild kick lately, and I'm just so excited. But I was just amazed. I mean, people I don't even know, but people feel comfortable asking me anything. That's the amazing thing. There's this energy that I push out there, and they feel comfortable being themselves and asking whatever question. Now, I have a friend who's so uptight and everything, you wouldn't dare ask her that kind of question. Yeah.
So, okay. But this leads me to a good point. I'm going to go on there, and somebody says, I'd like to he wants to show us his talent. Okay, fine. Let's take people through a beginning exercise.
Okay.
How's that? Because the exercise is ready. How can they be like what you just talked about? On demand. It's actually a huge part of it, because if you want to, this is the reason, if you want to function as spirit, work as spirit, and talk and listen as spirit, it helps if you're vibrating as spirit. Okay, did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, think I should repeat that one again? It's really, really important. Okay.
Yes.
If you want to hear as spirit, speak as spirit, have knowledge as spirit, be guided as spirit, you need to vibrate and have the energy as much as possible as spirit. Okay, now, simple question. What is that vibration and energy in general?
Right.
A low vibration? Is it a medium, like meditation vibration? Or is it an extremely high, happy, joyful, blissful, out of my mind, wonderful, pure energy?
It's the upper.
Okay, good. So let's do that exercise to say the very first exercise that I guide people through is, if you want to talk and hear from the other side, you got to practice being in that happy, sick, ridiculous, wonderful, I'm out of my mind, joyful, blissful vibration. Okay? So that's the first exercise. So everybody, so comfortable, deep breath, inhale, ready? And exhale. Now what I want you to picture is you're actually inhaling universal energy. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, one more inhale. I want you to find your awareness. Expand where you're paying attention to, the middle of your chest. Inhale. That is where your awareness is. That's where you're paying attention to. Just hold it. Feel your chest expand with universal energy. Exhale. On this next inhale, I want you to inhale universal energy through all of your chakras. Inhale through your throat chakra, crown chakra, palm chakras, heart chakra. Inhale universal energy. Allow it to come in through all parts of your body. And as you exhale, I want you to feel your humanness dissolve. Let your body go. One more time, same thing. Inhale universal energy through all aspects of your body. Feel the vibration and energy. Let it flow through you as you. Feel being part of the oneness. Hold it. Surrender your body. Let your body dissolve as if you're floating out from it. Exhale. Do you feel different now?
Oh, yes. Extremely warm.
Okay. Tell me how you feel. What does the energy and vibration feel like now? Continue to let the energy flow through you as you. There is no difference between universal energy and you. How does it feel?
Okay, so in my heart chakra area, there's this high vibration going on. I can feel that, and it's just like, it feels like an amplified speaker where it's just going boom, 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 right out through the chest area.
Great.
And
Now,
the top of my head is hot.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one more inhale. Again, the focus of your attention is inside your chest. Inhale, hold it. Now I want you to project your energy, your being, out through your heart chakra on the exhale. Project your energy outward. Feel your energy. Feel your being as it connects with universal energy outside of your body. Allow your heart chakra to expand outwards and project who you are into all that is. And just float and just feel and realize this is who you are. This is where you came from. This is what is around you always. One more inhale and exhale yourself out again into that. And just float and just connect. Have the intention to raise your vibration and energy, to float with the highest vibration and energy. Feel that. One more surrendering of the humanness. Let it go behind you. Project yourself outward into that which is always everywhere. And float. And float. And remember how this feels. Very, very important. Remember how this feels.
Yes.
Okay, deep breath. Come back into your humanness. Come back into your body. Another inhale. Open your eyes. Do you feel how much you had to come back into your body?
Yes. I didn't want to come back.
Yes, that's the answer. That's why you're on the other side and they say, are you sure you wanted to come back? You told us you didn't want to. Now you want to go back there? Really? Yes, that's what happens when the body lets go. Every single person who's ever been in a documentary who's died and come back says, I didn't want to come back. It was so beautiful. Right? Same thing.
Yes, you don't. And they talk about grounding yourself all the time, right? I don't
No, grounding means you're connecting with earth energy. Grounding means you're feeling a weight. You're feeling the pull of the earth. Yes, that is part of what you wanted to have the experience of. But vibrating as the earth is a heavier, denser energy. Vibrating as spirit allows you to float. It's much, much higher. And for me, that's a prerequisite to paying attention. Because if your vibration is that high, ready, it's a trick question, what are you not?
If your vibration's that high,
what are you not?
That's a good question. I'm not low vibration.
Yes, what is low vibration? Keep going. Low vibration is what? In human terms? Ego.
Ego, right. Yeah.
Sorry, trick question.
Yeah.
So the higher you are, the less interference with your communication there is from ego. So you're actually able to partially separate from that which limits you. So the communication is clearer. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, anyway, so this is my gift. That is a beginning exercise. This is what I walk people through. This is how I help people, is to learn to plug in. That was a plug-in exercise. Can't have internet unless you're plugged in. Things won't turn on unless you're plugged in. It's kind of hard to hear the other side unless you're plugged in. Same thing.
Well, I love it. I think it's just, I didn't want to stop and come down.
Well, the cool thing is the practice, I'll give everybody the practice, is go do this standing in line. Okay? You're at the grocery market. Practice. You're standing in line at the bank. Practice. You're taking a 10-minute break outside on the park bench. Practice. Okay?
Yes.
Word to the wise, please do not do this driving. I tried that once. Not good. No, almost killed myself. If you're moving, do not do the exercise. Okay?
Oh, shoot. I was going to try it while I was driving, but okay.
Yeah,
right.
No, I tried that. I was like, I got lots of time. Let me practice. And I'm like, who's driving the car?
I could see myself doing that while I was driving. I really could.
Yeah, so the goal is to hold that vibration as long as possible, okay? And there's many, many other benefits to doing this, okay? First of all, one of the premises, is that a word?
Yes.
Premises. One of the premises, say that 3 times fast, of this work is that it is not a practice. This is changing your life. The practice of what I'm talking about is taking it away from like 15 minutes or a half hour in the morning to you practicing actually being of that vibration and working with the other side during the day, all day, as much as possible as you can. Because what's one of the most basic fundamental teachings of spirituality? Be in the now. Well, yes. You're in the now all day long. How do you take the practice of guidance, communicating with the other side, into your daily life? You don't change who you are. You take your spirituality into what you do all day long. So the practice isn't about practicing. The practice is taking it out of some quiet room and doing it and getting yourself ready to communicate with the other side at work, when you have to talk to somebody on the phone, when you're dealing with friends, when you need to teach a class, when you need to give a lecture. So the practice actually helps you begin the process of saying, this is normal. It's normal to be that happy, that joyful, that connected. Why do you want to be connected all day long? That's actually an easy question. See if you can get that one. Why do you want to be connected all day long?
Why do I want to be connected all day long?
Besides being high and asking people if you're high, okay, it's not just that.
I love the feeling.
Okay, yes.
I don't know what the answer is, but I love the feeling.
Yes. So the worst case is you're happy as hell.
Right.
Is you're more aware of when they say there's a door of opportunity. There's a person you should talk to. Please don't go in that direction. Please don't sign your name on that dotted line. Please let this thing go all day long, every day. That is the end result. Is you get to live the life that I've lived.
And that was a beautiful life, too.
Yep, that's still going on. even though hair doesn't even grow anymore, it's just hilarious. But who needs hair anyways?
Hair's overrated.
It is. I go find somebody with long hair and I drape it over mine, and I was like, eh.
So one of the comments we have here is dealing with depression is hard to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice on that one?
It is a phenomenal opportunity to grow. You could deal with depression as something that beats you down, or you can deal with it as a lesson that when you reach the other side, you're going to be so happy you're not going to know what to do with yourself. The one option, like I said before, there's two options. One, it's going to kill me. I hate myself. I'm depressed. Something's wrong. Something wrong happened. How could this happen to me? The other option is, nothing is really wrong. Let me get rid of the emotion and the judgment. Let me go back to being peaceful. Yes, that takes work. That takes serious inner work. But can you hold on to that? Let it go. Let go of the past. Let go of whatever you're depressed about. Become peaceful and happy. It's a choice. Yes, it's work, but that's why they call it the inner work. Those are the two choices with depression. I used to be so depressed, I had my suicide planned. I know what you're talking about in terms of depression. The pain in my head used to be so bad, I had my death planned, how I was going to kill myself. And then I met Hans. Then I started practicing this stuff. It works. If you work it, if you trust it, if you would apply it to your life, you won't be depressed. You will be happy running around. People will asking you if you're smoking something. Does it happen overnight? No. Does it happen in a couple of days? No. Does it take a couple of years sometimes? Maybe. I used to get the shit beat out of me so much. I looked the other day, and after 47 years, I still have the scars from when I was a kid. Did I get over it? Yes. You want to hear something crazy? I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for what happened to me. I took something that I was depressed and suicidal about for nearly 30 years of my life and turned it into the reason of being. I'm grateful because it made me who I am. Somebody who just wants to help other people all day long, every day. Because I went through it. That is the lesson of depression. And the choice is, do you let the depression keep you depressed? Or do you learn from it and have compassion for others who are in that same situation and move on with your life? Again, it's not easy. But by applying these spiritual principles, not just me, but any spiritual teacher who talks about them, is how you do it, how you find joy, how you hold on to that joy. Does depression and mind chatter and monkey mind ever go away? That is the question. Somebody asked us that question a while ago. When does the inner work ever stop? Let's see if you can answer that question. When does the monkey mind, the fight, the struggle, the lessons, when did they stop?
When you let it go.
Well, no, when the body dissolves.
That's another way of letting go.
When the body dissolves, you go back to the other side. You don't hear the mind anymore. So there's those of us old souls who are like, okay, look, okay, I've been through such an interesting childhood. I don't know how many crazy things could happen to me. I'm depressed out of my mind. Okay, when is this going to stop? It's not.
Right.
It's not. And the lifetimes never stop. So
well, I'm impressed that when you were a child, you decided that you'd rather go into a group home than to stay with your parents. I stayed with mine and took the mental and physical abuse all up and even into adulthood.
Yeah, that happens a lot. My entire family hates, and I'm talking hates each other, but they still live 10 to 15 minutes from each other.
Right.
And they don't understand. They don't understand why I don't visit. I'm like, it's a choice. They're like, what are you talking about? It's a choice. I'm like, I understand you don't get that. That's not my problem. Is some people don't get. It's a choice. It is a choice to let depression rule you, or it's a choice to do whatever you need to do to seek out the spiritual principles and incorporate those spiritual principles into your life to beat up the depression. Say, I'm done with you. That's it. Here's 10 different ways that people say to beat depression. I'm going to practice them every single day for the next 6 months. It's a choice. I used to cry. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. Hans would make me cry all the time because there was stuff inside of me that I needed to let go of. When you do the inner work, it's tough. It's not easy. Never said it was easy. Anyway, sorry. I hope I helped that person who was dealing with depression.
Oh, yeah. She said, thanks for sharing. Yes. She said yes. So
where do you want to go next?
Well, we were going to talk about channeling.
Channeling. Okay, cool. Channeling. Channeling is an advanced form of communication. What that means is you become much more fluent in the language of communicating with the other side. See, the other side doesn't communicate on typical words. It's a foreign language. It is. It's a language for everybody, except people like Hans Christian King, who is clairaudient. For most of us who have to work at it every single day, we get to interpret energy and vibration. What does that mean? The language of spirit is energy and vibration. Okay? It's a different language, which means if we're Americans speaking English and we go over to Spain, would it be better to speak English or Spanish?
Yo hablo español, por favor.
Oh, bien, mejor. Español es mejor cuando estacionamiento en Barcelona, en Madrid. Cuando necesite de ayuda en España es mejor hablar español. Okay, what the heck does all of that mean? When you're in a different country, in a different land, speaking to different people, and you need help, talk their language. Right. So what's channeling? Channeling means you've done all these little exercises that I've given you so much, just like learning a foreign language, that you become fluent enough to give presentations, to write a book, to write a class, to just stand up in front of a bunch of people with not a single thing prepared and talk to them like you're the most educated person in the world. That is channeling. Why? Because all the research has been done for you. Everything you ever wanted to say is waiting for you. All the knowledge you ever sought and wanted to learn is already there. Channeling is you've practiced automatic writing and you've practiced communicating with the other side so much that whatever it is that you need to say, do, understand, or communicate, you're able to tap into in the moment.
Wow.
That's channeling.
That's beautiful.
It's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Yeah.
So with automatic writing, that's a type of channeling too, right?
It is in itself life-changing, but what I've learned about spirituality is you can't confine it to basic, advanced, good, bad, right, wrong. It's so multidimensional. In itself is a wonderful way to begin a relationship with the guidance that watches over you, with the universe, to grow the strength of your soul. It's to say it's a beginning form of channeling. On the other side, it will absolutely change your life. It could change your life just like that. You could be going to college or you can be going to jail. Depends whether you listen and trust.
Right?
Okay? Channeling takes that to such the next level of, doesn't matter whatever it is that you want to do or create or find out what you're supposed to be doing and creating. You could literally sit down like I do a few times a week, I have been doing for many years now, with a blank piece of paper or a blank word processor and create things that have never existed, that you never talked about, never learned about, never talked to anybody about, never discussed, never thought of, but it's on a piece of paper and it came from you. That's
Wow.
what you can do with this.
So my idea that I came up of having bed glasses, do you know what that means?
Bed glasses, try me.
Okay, so you know like a headband that you would wear around your head?
Yeah.
Right? Like for, a sweatband or something. But then add these flexible eyeglass pieces so that you can lay in bed and read a book and it's comfortable and it doesn't hurt you and you can fall asleep with them on.
Somebody came up with those.
They did?
It's a competition. It's a competitor to the Google Glass that you can talk to it. It'll give you directions. You have the glasses on. I saw it like a week ago.
Uh-huh.
And it displays what's on your phone.
Wow. But can you sleep in them?
If you can sleep in glasses.
No, see what I'm talking about is that you can sleep in these. It's like, it's soft. It goes around your, real close to your face. It's not hard plastic. It's just real soft cushiony pillows around your eyes.
Well,
but
Okay.
It has these flexible lenses so that you can see, like watch the TV or read a book in bed. And if you fall asleep, you're not hurting yourself.
I give you about another year and a half. Because solar panels, for example, are now flexible.
Uh-huh.
So I imagine computer screens will be flexible in about another year, I guess. Maybe a year and a half. Like I know these things. So yes, that's a very good idea. You just need a flexible computer screen. Right? To be embedded in your fluffy stuff.
A flexible eye lens, for glasses, not hard glass. Yeah,
exactly. So it has to be flexible, and then eventually, I'm sure they'll get into contacts and those things like you saw in Ghost Protocol. They've got cameras and all kinds of stuff in the size of a contact lens.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the next level. That would be kind of uncomfortable, though. Jeez. I don't know if you really want to sleep with those. You can't even sleep with regular contacts. I think they'd figured that out by now.
No, I get what you're saying. You get these ideas that nobody else has come up with or anything like that. That's spirit talking to you, giving you ideas, giving you, whatever.
Yes, and luckily, what I try to teach is ideas. How do you tell the difference between an idea that comes from ego and an idea that comes from spirit? If you ask your ego, for example, to repeat something, it will try to elaborate on it. It'll try to explain it. It'll try to justify itself. If you ask the other side and it's from them, what they just said, they'll say the exact same message, like it's just a matter of fact. They won't try to justify the message. They won't try to explain the message. So when you get something like that, it's good to do that little check. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Totally. I get that.
The ego loves to try to justify itself, especially when you become spiritual.
Yes, it does. I like that. That's a good exercise, a practice to do.
Yeah, and this is what the class is basically. It's constantly giving you different types of exercises to say, okay, what's your issue? Trust. Okay, I don't know if I can trust whether it's coming from the other side or not. Okay, great. Another one is, what is the vibration of the message? You can actually, instead of putting your ego on a stage and sitting back and watching your ego, you could sit back in the audience and put the idea on a stage. Look at the idea. Feel the idea. What is the energy and vibration of the idea? Separate yourself from it. Let it hang out there and say, how does this feel to me? What is the energy and vibration of the idea? That will also tell you where it came from. How's that for a mind bender? That
is. I'm wrapping my head around that. I am wrapping my head. So, you guys, you and Hans, you guys are always constantly giving back to everybody. You do a weekly radio show,
yep.
Right?
We do a weekly radio show. Absolutely everyone anywhere can listen to our weekly radio show for free, and we give out basically a spiritual lesson.
And what else do you guys do? I know you do, there's a whole pile of stuff on the website.
Yeah, there's a whole section just for free stuff. We call it free resources. There's free books and free downloads. Tons of free recordings of Hans being interviewed. The free radio show, there's a free astrology chart, free recommendations. What type of coaches, guidance, healers, energy workers, animal communicators, books, DVDs, technical stuff, because we run our own company. You want to run your own company. What recommendations do we have is all under free resources, free articles specifically for women, free introduction classes. All of that stuff is free. I don't even think the majority of it you need to sign up. Just go there and go get it.
Right. I've seen that. That's great.
Yeah, and
I think that's beautiful.
If you would like to sign up for our Hans King monthly newsletter, every single newsletter we give away a free audio lesson, and you can share the newsletter and the audio lesson with as many people as you want. You can share the newsletter, and it's completely fine with us. We give away, I've set it up so about 5 or 6 times a week, quotes of inspiration from Hans King. Any way you connect with Hans King through social media. I think the majority of it is Facebook and Twitter. Jennifer's doing some other stuff. I can't even keep up with her. Mm-hmm. You get a Facebook meme, if I said that correctly, which are direct quotes from Hans King's upcoming book that after 10 and a half years is actually happening. They're quotes from the book. I worked on the book for 9 years. I handed it off to the editor a year and a half ago, and It's going to be published this November. So if you want to get quotes of wisdom, you can follow us on Facebook, follow Hans on Twitter. I try to get something out every once in a while, but running Hans's business is fun enough.
Do you have your own Facebook page that people can follow?
Yes, Facebook.com/Alfred Ricci, which is ALFREDRICCI. There's also Facebook Alfred Ricci 1. That is my personal page. You're going to see motorcycle trips, kittens, the princess supermodel Bella, but no spiritual stuff. So just my boring personal life. If you want, keep.
Well, I know what you have on there. You and I are friends on there, so I know what you got on there.
Yeah. Yes, I took a motorcycle ride. Everybody, hi, say hi. I'm really high in a mountain. If you want to find out about interviews or the occasional message of inspiration, follow me on /Alfred Ricci.
Good idea. And I put that on our Raising Vibration Facebook page so that people that are listening in the archives, you can go to the Facebook page and see that information. I'll post that on there this evening after the show is over. And also, you said that you were helping him with a book, but you're writing one too. When is yours coming out?
The editor just said I'm supposed to send her some stuff. I actually had my first book came through about 8 years ago, and it's been sitting because it's all about Hans. Hans comes first. He is the master. He's been doing this for 50 years. So my first book has been on hold for a while. But a new one is actually coming through now. It started a couple of weeks ago. It's just hilarious. It's this ongoing thing. The other side decided they wanted to have another book come through me. And I just sit there and I just type and they tell me about the way the universe works. And it's very interesting. Like, did you know there's 2 forms of enlightenment?
No.
I didn't even know that. I was like, really? There's 2 forms of enlightenment, and they took about a page and a half to describe the 2 different types of enlightenment and why each one is separate, how they work together. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Is one of the forms of enlightenment action and consequences?
It mainly has to do with awareness.
Okay.
Is what are you aware of? And there's different types of things to be aware of.
Okay.
Okay, is, for example, the first type of awareness is you're a soul having a human incarnation. You are more than the body. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that in itself is an awakening to say, oh, wait, I'm not a human who goes to church. I'm not a human who does a meditation. I'm not a human who goes and listens to Reverend Raven's show once in a while and I feel better, then I go back to my job. No, the first awareness is that you're a soul who's here temporarily for a bunch of experiences and lessons and a little bit of fun and partying, and you go back to the other side. Okay? The second awareness is your connection to the invisible. That it's not just you as a soul, but there is something more than what your physical senses can perceive. Okay? Is that you're first of all awakened to there is something more, not just within me, but there is something more around me, through me, and the resources that are available to that. Anyways, those are the 2 different types of awarenesses that they told me 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Loving that. So, will you be able to get that book out soon, or are you going to wait?
Oh no, it's coming through me now. It just depends upon how much time I have to sit down in the morning is how fast it'll come out. That's
I gotcha.
it. The book is already there. That's the way it works with the other side. The book's there. It's just how much time do you spend on taking it from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. That's channeling. Yeah. Your life is already there. All your experiences are already planned. Your dharma already exists. The question is, are you dealing with it? Are you connecting with it? Are you letting it rule you, or are you learning from it and moving on? Are you digesting it? Are you letting it change who you are? Or I saw the best quote actually. It's not you're changing, it's you're letting go of the things that you're not to become who you are. I thought that was really cool.
Wait, repeat that again?
You're not changing. when you go through the awakening process, whichever one of these you happen to be going through at the time. You're not changing. You're letting go of the things that you're not to become who you really are.
Understood.
Okay? Like
Got
the
it.
first awakening, I'm letting go of the notion that I'm it, that's it, I'm an ego, and I awaken to the truth that this body is temporary, this ego is really a pain in my neck, and I'm really a soul who happens to be borrowing this body. Okay? So you're letting go of the belief that you are a body. Instead, you become who you are, and you settle into the fact that you're really an immortal soul. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
yes, it does.
I think that's a much better way to look at enlightenment. You let go of ego. You let go of depression. You let go of the past. You let go of opinion. You let go of judgment. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
And by letting go of all those things, you become who you are. You're more happy. You're more naturally. Your vibration rises more naturally. So the more you let go of human aspects that you are not, the more easier it is to vibrate and have the energy of spirit, who you truly are.
I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fight spiritual principles, even though I really sometimes try to argue with Hans. If you ever want to watch a comedy, listen to the radio show where I try to argue with Hans, because I come at things from such different directions, and no matter what, every single time we agree. Drives
He's
me.
so calm, though,
It
too.
drives me nuts.
Well, he knows it. I mean, he states it. He's very calm about it, and it's just, I've listened to him several occasions, and I'm just amazed at his energy, how he's able to connect with everybody that he communicates with and gets them to understand right off the bat,
Yes, and that is, it is Hans' talent to do that, but it is also everybody else's ability to do that. And that's what's really crazy is people think that this is something special. Automatic writing and channeling is something special. No, the way it used to be, I can't remember the sacred text, that there should be an intuitive and healer in every family. That it should be that common. That it is that common. I have to remember which sacred text was talking about that. Probably the Bhagavad Gita. But it's because we're in this Western world, topics like this are just not talked about in commonplace. What do you mean there's something more important than money? Really?
Right. Or if you were brought up in the South like I was, you didn't talk about this stuff because it was just dead wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very wrong.
Yeah, it's my
You're
way.
You're going to go to hell.
Yeah, you're going to go to hell. Great. Okay, fine. I'll go join the other billion people in China that are going to hell. Fine. It's a party. I'll see you there. Save me a seat.
Oh my goodness. So people, we've gone over about 6 minutes after the show ran over and stuff like that. And Alfred, I hope you will come back and talk to us because there's so much more, that you could share with us. I know you talk about spirituality and business and a couple other topics that I'd love for you to come back and share with us on here when you get chances. I know that you're very, very busy.
Very busy, yes.
I know.
You might have to twist my arm and do some of that what you're smoking, right?
Right? It's the Christmas tree ganja.
That's what I send. That's the emoji that I send people, is a Christmas tree. They're like, okay, you're lit like a Christmas tree, right? I'm like, yeah, exactly. You got it. Okay.
So, Anyway, in the meantime, though, I am going to put on our Facebook page how you can like Alfred's Facebook page, and you can also, if you're interested in the automatic writing course, you can get in touch with him at his website, which you can hit that link in the picture. I tested it out, and it does work, and it'll take you right to his site. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we close out the show? He's hitting the ganja, guys.
I know, really. Hold on. No. You want to know why I was late? Anyway, if I'm going to leave everybody with something, is miracles. My definition of a miracle is something that was created by the other side, and you became aware of it. That's a miracle.
I love that.
Is you asked souls to hang out on the other side and take care of you, to guide you, to give you information, to give you, to coordinate on behalf of the experiences that you wanted. Those miracles are from souls that you asked to help you in this lifetime. You want more miracles? Learn to listen to the other side.
Beautiful. And
Thank you. I never said that before. That came from them.
I love it. So if you guys need help with learning to see the miracles coming from the other side, hook up with Alfred on his website.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yes, by all means. All right. Well, everyone, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out tonight and being a part of it. If you're listening to the podcast, again, you can get in touch with Alfred at www. I say Ricci, but he says it's Ricci.
Well, in Italian, it's Ricci.
Ricci.
Ricci. Let's get that right. It's Alfredo Ricci. Then I went to Italy. They're all talking to me in Italian. I'm like, no, guys, sorry, I don't speak Italian. With a name like Alfredo Dominic Ricci, how could you not speak Italian? I'm like, I live in Germany. I speak German. Sorry. They're like, oh, my God, we feel bad for you.
Oh, my little Schatzi. All right. All right. So we're going to end this show. Alfred, again, thank you so much for joining us and playing with us on here tonight. It has been an honor and a treat.
It's been an absolute blast. I'm glad we had some fun. I'm glad we got for some exercises. And yes, I'd be more than happy to come by and harass you and your listeners again.
Thank you. We would be so honored. And bring the Christmas tree with you, okay?
Oh, maybe not so much this next time.
Okay. I gotta get off here before I start dying laughing. I'm gonna pee my pants, and then I gotta share it with everybody, right?
Okay.
All right. Love to you all. Thanks so much, and be sure to listen to the replays. You can do the exercises again, and check out his website. Alfred, good night, and thanks for coming.
Good night, Raven. Bye-bye.
Bye.